cheating is no longer a deal breaker for me.
Me cooking from scratch 3 times a day retains my relationship and retains me going on
3 times a day.
Financial independence. A man may say that he'll take care of you completely. He will end up resenting.
If a man wants to give you babies and not make you his wife, I'm telling you, that man does not only not love you, he doesn't like you.
And they're like, oh, why are you going overseas? Just always this shaming men for their preferences. Live your life. Don't listen to people who judge you or shame you. It's your life. You only live once.
Hey guys, welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, I ask that you like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get right into this.
And a lot of women may not agree with me when I say this. Cheating is no longer a deal breaker for me in a relationship.
No,
it's no longer a deal breaker. If he had a mishap or whatever, I understand that we are humans. Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course, I haven't been in that situation.
Right.
But I used to be like, oh, hell, I would never. Oh, no. Mm-mm.
You guys notice something, right? It took a woman that's older and seasoned. 2 women said this that are older and seasoned. Why? They truly understand. They want to keep a man. I'm not saying that's acceptable. I'm saying it probably should be.
But now, as you think about just life, I don't think that I would be like, this is it.
Right.
Because I just don't. And I've grown into that type of thing because that is mature. And I would want him, if something were to happen, hopefully open communication, that we could actually say, hey, this is what happened. Mm-hmm. Can you forgive me or whatever, and vice versa, just because there is a level of love there.
But that comes from open communication.
You have to.
That's probably something women need to subscribe to, right? Of course, they're older, accepting that and understanding this person is human, of course, not dealing with it to like, oh, okay, my man's going to cheat on me. And that's what's going to happen. All these women that want these high value men. Oh, I want a man making 100,000, but you can't handle it. You want that man to also be the most loyal person in the world. A lot of times, those guys have the pick of the litter. And this is not even going for these women that are talking, because they may not, but you know what? They very well may want that high value man too. Because you see women that are 70 years old saying, I need a man making 100,000. I'll tell you this, a lot of women in a lot of these states, especially like New York and California, need a man making over 100,000, or it's hard to survive. You want to live in New York City, even living in the ghetto, you need to be making a lot of money. And it's wild because some people are making decent money even living in the ghetto, right? Depending on what they're doing. Depending on, like my mom, when I lived in Southside Queens at one point. And my mom had a job for the Federal Aviation Administration. And back then, she was making like 40,000. I'm talking about when I was born in 1981. She had that job since then. Back then, she was making like 40,000. So imagine, but she's retired now. But you need that kind of money in the West, especially in New York.
As a woman who makes 7 figures, like, my money does not retain my relationship, like my ability to.
There you go.
If he gets home at 6 a.m., me making breakfast when he gets home is what's retaining my relationship. It's never been my ability to. I'm a Forbes lister.
See, when guys hear things like this, because it doesn't matter what kind of money you're making. You heard what she said? She said, I'm a Forbes lister, but me cooking for my man and doing these things for my man is what maintains my relationship. Guys don't want to hear, I'm getting the bag. You see her soft, sweet attitude? She's what? Feminine. This is what guys want. Women that are feminine and delicate. Feminine and delicate. That's what we want. Look at that. And she's from the West too, right? She's from the West. What do I always say? So far, so few.
Top of my game, but that doesn't retain my relationship. Me cooking from scratch 3 times a day retains my relationship and retains me going on
3 times a day?
Yes, from scratch. I was on Food Network, but like me being able to cook, me being able to upkeep our home, labels on everything, doing weirdo organizing is what's retaining my relationship.
It's not weird. It's fantastic.
Hold on. Did you see how all of the women around the table, they made sure to show that? We're looking at her. She's telling us the same thing these men are telling us. And look how Fit was looking at her. Myron was looking at her like he looking at her like she's something to eat. Every guy out there is looking at her like she's something to eat. Not because of the money she makes. A man doesn't care about your money. A man cares about the softness. Feminine and delicate. Fantastic. Exactly. I second that.
What did you just tell me?
I said no one's gonna want to marry a girl that gets drunk every Friday.
You see that? Out of the mouth of babes. This is a little girl who understands. They understand. She sees and understands relationships. This girl has to be like 7 to 10 years old, within that range. She gets it. She understands. No man is going to want a girl that gets drunk every Friday. How do you know that, little girl? How? Common sense, right?
Who get drunk every Friday?
You!
Yes, she very well does. But let me tell you the reaction I seen to that.
No one's gonna want to marry a girl that gets drunk every Friday.
But what if he's the reason that you are drinking on Friday?
This lady said this as she's pouring out some alcohol.
Clock that tea.
Right now, I'll tell you this. I've been around women that get drunk, play cards, right? I'm not bashing those women, but you know what she means. A woman that's getting drunk every Friday just to get drunk. Some women are doing that. And also a woman getting drunk without her man around. Because the woman I was around that were drinking, playing cards, their man was not too far behind. They were right there, right? I've seen it. They were right there. They in the hood. I come from the ghetto. I'll tell you the truth. Their man was right there, getting drunk with them, playing cards with them. That's a whole different ball game. Not talking about anything like that. But her getting drunk by herself, it's not a good look. No man wants that, like the girl said. But if he's getting drunk with you, that's a little bit different of a ball game. But I don't see your man, lady. She should have showed her man right there.
Accessories dating tip. Ladies, do not let the soft life girlies fool you. Depending on a man completely comes at a very high cost. If you don't have financial independence, a man may say that he'll take care of you completely, but he will end up resenting you. Either that or he'll get bored of it.
The wrong guy.
Men love women that have their own, that have something going on for themselves, and that could take care of themselves completely if that man was gone one day. Yes, you can try for a man that makes a lot more than you financially, but depending on him completely will leave you with a lot of regret.
No, that's a lie. Men will not regret you. Men would rather women rely on them, right? There's some men who will regret you, but those may be the men that don't have it like that, right? Because a lot of guys are in a soft guy era now. And what do I mean by that? What is soft guy era? Soft guy era is contributing. Men do want women to contribute. But if a guy a lot of these women saying, I want a guy to make 100,000, they think that's enough for the guy to provide a lifestyle for them. And 100,000 just doesn't kick it. You need a guy making $1 million. If a guy is making millions, of course he's going to support you. Even if it's not millions a year, if he's made a couple $1 million already, and say he gets 100,000 a year now, but then last year he got 500,000. The year before that he probably got 200,000. That's a man that understands how to make that money, right? So he's not gonna mind if a woman's not working, if a woman maybe contributing and being on his plan and help him out with everything he has going on. Yes, a man doesn't mind at that point. But if a man is on the come up, he wants a woman that will grind it out with him and contribute. They want to contribute to a pot together, because if he doesn't, he's never going to make it. He's going to go broke. and be in want, and nobody wants to be in want.
Has actually invested in leases, in equipment, and lots of immovable assets. He can't.
And that said, why engagement rings have to be so expensive? And it says, don't let them baby mama you. Let me hear what she has to say.
So basically, in this section that I stitch, he was talking about how, oftentimes, like a brick and mortar restaurant, it's more trustworthy than just like a food truck that may sell the same type of foods, because the food truck could poison 3 of its customers and then just drive away and go to the next town or city or whatever. But a brick and mortar is there. It's stable. Like, there can be reviews written about it. People can go back to that restaurant and say what needs to be said about it. Food truck can move. It can go somewhere else. You can't find it again necessarily. And he was talking about this as far as like long-term investments when it comes to men. And this is so true. And this is why when I hear the debate about...
Now, you notice it was a man telling this. And that was a great analogy that was used, by the way. I don't know if she got it from him, but great analogy on her part. I don't know if it's his analogy. And she's listening to a man. See this, right? This man was giving woman advice. And she listened. Now let me let her continue.
Women saying like, well, don't dog on like the baby mama thing, and it's okay, a woman doesn't have to be married to have a kid. Well, no, you don't. You can do what you want ultimately as a person. But just understand, when these men are giving you a baby before they give you a ring, they are making a long-term investment, but they're not making a long-term investment with you. They're making a long-term investment on the side of knowing that even if he's not around, he just left you with a lifelong responsibility. He just left you with a lifelong commitment. He just left you with possibly a lot of stress. And even if you're not having like necessarily financial stress as a single mom or parent or whatever, just being a parent, being a mother, you're never not concerned about your children. You're always thinking ahead and concerned about them. And so this person just left you a lifelong investment in that, but was not invested in being with you as a couple and creating a family and stability for you and protection and provision for you. And so when it comes to like the whole baby mother thing, it's like, it's not a put down. It's just care about yourself more. You know what I mean? Like, understand that men who will give you a baby before they will make you a wife and actually never make you a wife, they don't have any good intentions for you. They don't have any good intentions for you. They did that to slow you down. They did that to be forever connected to you. They did that so that, hopefully, you won't be as quick to give up on them because now you have this child with them. But I promise you, it is not anything that is a long-term positive investment for your benefit from them. So, if a man is not willing to make an investment in you and make you his spouse, make you his lifelong partner, invest in you financially, buying a home together, putting your name on accounts, but he's willing to give you a baby, they don't love you. He doesn't love you. In fact, he really doesn't even like you. So stop letting these men do this to you, because they're making a long-term investment when they give you a baby, but not marry you. And that long-term investment is they're trying to give you a lifelong, and they're trying to invest you for the rest of your life into stress and struggle and heartache. And they also know it's going to make it harder for you usually to date or get somebody else if you already have kids. It's no good. If a man wants to give you babies and not make you his wife, not be invested in you for the long term, I'm telling you, that man does not only not love you, he doesn't like you. Stop letting these men do this to you. Also, I wrote a book called Marry Well, Black Girl. If you're interested, the link to that is in my bio. It's on Amazon. It's available via Kindle, paperback, hardback, and audio. Love you all so much. Stay soft.
Yeah, it's not that. You know what it is, too? A lot of it is baby mama-ism, because it is an ism. It's a way of life. It's promoted, right? It's been promoted since back in the 90s all the way up into 2000s, right? Even with songs. I remember, what's that song? Who that is? My baby mama. That baby mama. It's my baby mama. She be riding caddy. Hoop rat. Hoochie mama, baby mama, all that stuff, right? I'm on child support. She get welfare checks. It was kind of connected because with women in the streets doing that stuff led to baby mama. And also what happens, not even that, guys are just creating baby. Also, guys don't know any better, right? Even when I was younger, I didn't know any better. I'm thinking, okay, I want to have a baby. I grew up in a big family. I was the oldest out of 5. So I seen, well, not out of 5, out of 4, right? So I've seen it. I've seen it all my life. I've seen a bunch of kids. My younger brother's 4 years younger. Then I have other brothers and sisters that are 17 years, 18 years, and 14 years younger than me. So I was kind of like a father. So I wanted a big family, right? But I didn't understand. As a young man growing up, I really didn't understand. I always had well wishes. I didn't understand. It's a hood mentality that's taught. And she's right. Girls need to be taught this because girls, most of the time, only want to be their baby mama. Especially, as she's saying, my old black girl, young women need that because young men don't see it and young women don't see it as well. They think baby mama is like a marriage. That's like a marriage to a lot of these black women. And it's sad because it's like that to black men too. That's how I seen it, as a marriage, right? And especially nowadays, with marriage going the way it is now in the West, guys are thinking baby mama's the best thing you're gonna get. It's sad but true. And a lot of times they are locking that girls down with kids. And they want to get locked down that way. They don't want anywhere else. So I think women need to hear it more from people that understand where they're coming from. Like a guy like me, I can tell him, hey, look, you don't want to do this. This is not the way. Right? Maybe if she was in that position herself and did that herself, she can explain it better. It needs to come from a person that was a baby mama that changed her life around, got it together and got married to say, hey, look, you don't want to do that. But anyway, I'm sure she's good. Keep trying.
Women that react really negatively towards passport bros, they probably kind of feel rejected and like their pool of men is getting smaller. And they're like, oh, why are you going overseas? Just always this shaming men for their preferences, for what they do, for what they don't want to do. Like there's so much of that going on.
Your reaction was so positive.
All right, so guys, this is what's happening. It says how ironic. It took Steph, a foreign woman, I don't know where she's from. She's like she's Eastern European or something like that, to get Bob, this man here, to fall back from hating on the passport bros. She's doing good work. Let me let her work.
It's like, no, what's wrong with it? And then you described it and I said, well, yeah, that's sensible. But I think it's the label that just made me dismiss it all the time.
Yeah, you had a very negative reaction to it. Well, mine was very positive from the start, but I really think it's because you look at it from the red pill perspective and I look at it from just a normal perspective.
That's a good point.
What's your advice for passport bros?
My advice would be to just do what you want to do, live your life. Don't listen to people who judge you or shame you. It's your life, you only live once. The only thing I would say is before you make an important decision, obviously be careful, do your research, plan things out. If you meet someone, take your time, go on vacation a few times first before you actually move. But basically, what you want to do is what you can do. So just go for it. That's what I would say.
Wow. That's what guys need to hear. From a foreign woman herself who has a very logical mind, broke down a man who hated on it. A man from the West who hated on it, who didn't really understand. She gets it. She sees how bad it is, woman in the West. There was another woman that was from, I believe, from Ukraine, and who was on Fresh and Fit show. And she said, she's seen how women were and said, oh, now I understand why these guys are spending all this money to travel to my country. Because I'm here with you, woman. Same thing happened with her. She's in the West. She sees it. She sees the talks. She sees the TikToks. And she understands. And it's getting a little quiet now on TikTok, right? Women are starting to humble down. They're starting to humble themselves because they're starting to get it too. Some, they're realizing, wait a minute, this is happening. guys are leaving because this feminism has been toxic for so long. How could guys not leave? More people don't understand because they realize
This is the way.
Passport, bro. Passport. No. Guys get it. And they think there has to be more to life than dealing with what I was dealing with back home.
Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity.